Hi everybody, it's me, Lee, from Lee and the Sweet Life and Foodie Book Club, and we've got the fabulous Lizzie from Peachy Digital here, who's still got, she's got a short, leave it on, I don't even ask it. It wasn't to do with dogs, it wasn't even to do with anything exciting, you know. So Peachy Digital, she's looking after all the marketing and doing all this wonderful, and if you've got any questions, she'll read them out. And here we've got the fabulous Sophie Hyam. Sophie, do I say that like that, Hyam?
Hyam, yes, yeah. Everybody spells it wrong, but it's Hyam, Hyam.
Yeah, I get that because my hyphen is MAJ, and even Lizzie used to call me Madge Hen, and Madge.
Yeah, I did.
And it's a Y, you know. But yeah, so I get it. So Sophie, you're going to be cooking for us. But first of all, tell us something about what you're doing.
Okay, well today I'm doing quite an easy dish, and we're saying about lockdown lunches, so it's probably something you might have in your fridge. So it's just a chicken breast, so it's called chicken Milanese, which is just with a breadcrumb and parmesan coating. Just quite easy. Boiled potatoes, crushed new potatoes, sauce vierge, which is just like a herb sauce, and roasted tomato.
See, no, wow. That sounds like this thing that's going to take forever and ever. I know it's going to taste divine, but it's something that you can just rustle up, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds, you know, a lot of things have sort of a bit of a chefy name. So again, like when I do the chicken, it's panin, which is just flour, egg and breadcrumbs. So it sounds posh, but actually it's a really nice, well, it's a nice lunch dish, but it's a really quick and easy sort of Friday night supper as well. So yeah.
Do you think the chef's names put people off sometimes when you say like pane? Do you think?
Absolutely, yeah. You just think, oh, what is that? And if you look at a recipe like sauce vierge, is basically herbs, oil, some anchovies, garlic, but it's just whizzed, and that's it. That's your sauce. So yeah, would that put you off if you sort of looked at that and thought, oh, what's that?
Yeah, I'm like you. I think you know, let's make it more accessible, which is what Foodie Book Club is all about, really, making cooking accessible to everybody.
Yeah,
because people get scared of cooking, and if they do it wrong, they get scared, never do it again. You go, oh, make as many blooming mistakes as you want.
Yeah. That's it, absolutely. And like a recipe book is there to guide you. So even if there's something in there, you think, oh, I don't know, you're making a sponge or whatever, and you don't like raisins, or you don't like almonds, or you don't like certain peel, you don't have to put it in. It's just, yeah, it's there to guide. So yeah, you can crack on and do what you like.
I love you. So tell me what you're doing with your work, and tell me, because you can start cooking. I'm just going to keep talking.
Yeah.
Have a go. But you know,
I'm just going to put on the new potatoes. So just season them just in a pan, boil some water, and bring them to the boil. So I'll just start with that.
I have to say, with sauce vierge, I would not be putting the anchovies in personally.
Oh, no. You know what? Say this again, Sophie. She doesn't eat fish.
Oh, okay.
Tried so hard. I wish I liked it, but honestly, I just can't deal.
Yeah. So again, it's one of those where people are put off by anchovies, but I'm just putting a little bit of oil on my roasted tomato. I've only got one because it's just for me for lunch today. But if you do the recipe, then one big tomato per person.
You know,
a bit of oil, bit of black pepper,
if people
and salt.
Do you think people go, oh, I'm only cooking for me? So they go, I won't bother cooking.
Yeah, again, yeah. I'm just popping that in the oven at 180, so that will go in for about 15-20 minutes. Yeah, I think some people will actually think, well, it's too much like hard work. But I don't know, I just love fresh ingredients, love fresh food. And, you know, if it is just me, I have got three children and my husband, but if it is just me, I'll still cook fresh.
Yeah, this is what and I think, you know, people go, well, it's only me, I won't order a takeaway. And I think I'm the only one in the whole world right now who hasn't had a takeaway in lockdown. I have to say, I'm still thinking, I know, I keep saying,
who are you?
I haven't done this. But I think people go, well, I'll order a takeaway. But by the way, tiny takeaway comes to you, you could have just made this dish. You know what I mean? It's the weirdest thing. So I don't know. Sophie, tell me, while you're doing that, tell me what you're doing in your work life. Oh, by the way, this recipe is going to be, because we're going to talk a lot, this recipe is going to be, is now, by this afternoon, will be live on the website, Lee and the Sweet Life. So you can follow it on there. This is going to go on our YouTube channel by Monday, I think, if Lizzie's going to nod her head by Monday. And also...
Go on tomorrow.
And then Sophie's going to send me a picture of this, and that's going to go on the web. So, you know, so tell me while you're doing that, tell me what you're putting in, and tell me what doing in your work life? I know.
Okay, so, well, obviously, prior to COVID, I'm a private chef, so I do bespoke dinner parties, I do food demonstrations, I do cookery lessons. Basically pimp myself out in the culinary world, really. But obviously, after COVID, once it started, the first 3 weeks, I actually didn't do anything. I just looked at thinking, what on earth can I do? And after 3 weeks, I was just almost beside myself, thinking I can't not do anything. So I changed my business model and I started doing home deliveries. So initially, it was just home deliveries of like good homemade food. So just like, I don't know, I was doing lasagnas, meat, vegetable. I was doing cottage pies. I was doing pasta, that type of thing. Just good homely food for people that are on lockdown. So I got quite a lot of orders from people whose parents were in this area, which is the Coventry area I live in, and they wanted obviously to know their parents were getting a nice meal. But from that developed it into a monthly picnic box. So seasonal, whichever. So into April, May, June, I changed it every month. And then from that, we went to bespoke delivery dinner parties. So I put a new menu up I'm still doing it now. I put a new menu up every month on my Facebook page, which is Culinary Bites with Sophie. And yeah, basically, whether it's a French theme, a bespoke dinner party, Thai, just trying to think what else. I've got a vegan Indian one up there. So all sorts. And I deliver it on the day they order it, between 1 to 4, with full heating instructions, all allergen labelled, and you can have your own dinner party at home.
Perfect. I mean, come on,
Lovely.
get on her website, guys, because, you know, even if lockdown is over, let's just keep buying Sophie's fabulous stuff. I mean, she's
Yeah, that would be great.
yeah.
Can you courier it, Sophie?
No, I do actually. I've got a unit, a catering unit that I hire in Coventry, and then everything's obviously stored, in the fridge. Basically, I make sure the delivery is only the Coventry area, so I don't need to have it refrigerated because it will be delivered within half an hour of being out of the fridge. So yeah.
Fair enough. Not gonna lie, bit gutted. I was hoping for a wedding night meal. I'm up in Yorkshire, so it's a bit of a travel.
I just do my daughter should have got married last October 16th, so obviously I had to cancel it. And what I did do was her wedding menu for her, obviously, and I delivered that exactly to her, what she would have had that night. So
that's so lovely.
That's quite nice.
So what we're doing now?
Right, well, I've just done the pane, so that's flour, egg and breadcrumbs. So I've seasoned the flour, beaten egg, and used panko breadcrumbs because they're pre-dried, they're a nice quality breadcrumb. And then I've got a nice chicken breast. This is from my local butchers who I work with. This is Scott's Butchers. And basically, I've battened that out quite thin, so it's almost like the thickness of a pound coin, I suppose. And then I'm just going to flour, egg and breadcrumb that. So.
Okay. Can you do me a favour? Can you just tilt the camera down? Is it possible, just a little bit, so we can see some of?
Yeah, sure.
And I don't know how you flatten your chicken, but I put mine in between cling film and hit it hard. Ooh. Is that how you do yours?
Yes. Yeah. Is that better?
Yeah.
You can see what you're doing.
Yeah. Just a little between the cling film and a little bit of oil. And I was actually one of my favourite chefs, Raymond Blanc. he was doing. I can't remember what he did the other day, but I usually flatten this out with a rolling pin. But he uses a big, heavy base pan so that when you obviously bang it, you're putting pressure across all the way along in the same area. So that's what I did today. And it actually works. So yeah.
Because like me, I know you get those lines. You get those lines where you hit it with the rolling pin, it's never smooth.
Yeah, that's it. So if you use a bigger pan, bigger than the size of the chicken breast, you get quite a nice, you can see quite a nice consistency there.
That's a great tip, thank you, because I would never have thought about just getting those.
You know what though, in all honesty, I've always done it with a pan, but only because we lost the rolling pin when we moved house. It's my default rather than design.
So that's now an egg, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the egg yolk. Quite nice. You can see, well, hopefully see the eggs.
They're like good eggs, very yellow.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I do use organic eggs. Again, my butcher uses a local farmer for that supply, so I get them from there. And then we've got the breadcrumbs. And I've seasoned the breadcrumbs, but I've only seasoned them with salt. I tend to use the black pepper seasoning at the end, because if you do pop it in now, it can actually burn when you're cooking it, which obviously would give quite a put my teeth back in, bitter taste. So yeah.
Can I ask you a question about your breadcrumbs? Because we would probably have both, right? But if I don't have panko, can I make my own? Can I use other things other than breadcrumbs? You know.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I always tend to have quite a nice selection of breads in my house, and I always have something left over. So some nice ciabatta, some white bread, some whole grain, whatever, and just pop it in a whizzer, and that you can use that as breadcrumbs. That's fine.
And I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've before in desperation, never waste anything. Use what's in your cupboard. I've used Weetabix, I've used crisps, I have used anything slightly crunchy.
Cornflakes. Cornflakes are good.
Cornflakes work nicely.
Really crispy.
And you've got a piece of chicken in your fridge this for lunch, and you go, what have I got? You're bound to have something that's going to crisp up nicely, and it's normally a cereal of some sort, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, that's nice. And you can add oats and things like that as well. One of the items I'm producing my sauce with is the mini chopper. So obviously you can pop in your breadcrumbs in there, you can pop in your oats, and just whiz that to a nice fine sort of breadcrumb texture, really.
There's a way. Never say you can't do something. There's always something forgotten there.
Sorry, I missed that.
I'm just saying, there's always a way, isn't there, to make.
Yeah. So I'm just going to make my sauce village now, which obviously it did sound very posh, but it is herbs, shallots, garlic. Obviously, we said about the anchovies, seasoning, and again, you can use capers or gherkins, and I've just got a gherkin because I prefer gherkins again to capers really, and seasoning. So I'm just going to pop all of that into my mini chopper.
And while you're chopping, I want to ask you a question, if that's okay, because I have a feeling that I might know the answer to this one. If it was my birthday tomorrow, what purchase would you say, go out and get, what would be on my birthday list?
Well, there we go. This mini chopper.
I was hoping you would say that.
Because I just think they're brilliant. They're so versatile. So the herbs I'm putting in here is parsley and basil. But yeah, you can chop your herbs, you can grind nuts in it, you can make a dressing, a French dressing in, because at the top of it there's like a small hole, so you can see there. And so you can obviously have your in there, you can have your mustard, a little bit of wine vinegar seasoning, and then pop your lid on, then drizzle in the oil, and that'll make a really nice dressing. As I said, you can make this herb dressing, you can do your breadcrumbs, you can do your nuts, whatever really needs whizzing. So yeah,
without having to get a huge big processor. And I mean, they're sort of pounds, aren't they? And they last forever. I mean,
I think they're what, £15, something like that. And I don't know how long I've had this one. Well, I've had it long enough that the measures that were in black are no longer there. So
they're the best kind of utensils and tools, though, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely.
The wire turns slightly yellow, doesn't it? Because you've had it so long, and the wires are slightly discoloured.
Yeah.
Shallot. If I didn't have a shallot in my onions, if I had a red onion.
Yeah, red onions, they're a little bit sweeter, not as strong a taste, but yeah, you could use spring onions if you wanted spring onions, and you can use a white onion, but they're just a bit more sharp, to be honest.
But there you go. I mean, don't, like I say, if you haven't got a shallot, again, it's one of those things, isn't it? A lot of people will have certain things in their fridge because, like me, I buy nearly every week. I'll at least buy some onions, or at least buy a lemon, or at least buy, some sort of greenery. And there's always that little bit left at the back of the fridge, isn't there?
Yeah. And to be honest, when you're chopping your onions quite fine, you sometimes come to the end part where you're sort of holding it and you can't quite get that finely chopped enough, or you could pop it in a sauce like this.
Throw it away.
Save any waste.
Yeah, don't throw it away. Oof, never. Don't even get me started on that one. Are you a believer in never having any food waste as well?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm awful. I might actually at the moment put some ground black pepper in my fridge. There's a pot of risotto I made. It's a leek and gorgonzola risotto, and it's about that much. What that, and I just couldn't throw it away. I thought, well, when am I going to eat it? I'm probably not, but
I say,
throw it away.
That's what freezers are for, isn't it? I collect things in the freezer, and then I just every once in a while get those things out and think, okay, now I've got all of these bits. What can I put them in?
Yeah. And what I have done over the last sort of 2 or 3 years or so is that prior to this, I have started labelling things in the freezer, because I would get things out thinking, oh, that's a nice bit of pork. It turns out like it's, I don't know, red mullet or something that, you know.
You know what, I need to get into that.
Good. Lee, your chili tip is absolutely spectacular. I use that and it is amazing.
It is.
You use what, sorry?
I have this chili tip that I just thought everybody used, right? But I really don't. So I freeze all my fresh chilies, and then I take them out frozen and grate them.
Oh, okay.
And they grate really finely, and obviously you can just grate the seeds. Just keep grating. You know, one of those fine graters, what they call the whatever microplane things.
Yeah.
Just grate them, and then you can just put that any unused back in the freezer. And it just means you don't get lumps in there, and it's just the flavour. It's just great. And also in the summer, I think I got bags and bags, and there were 9p each because the date was, and I just bought literally about 30 of them and shoved them in the freezer. And yeah, the best tip ever.
It's so good. I use it all the time.
Yeah, and you don't waste
it.
it.
I've done my sauce, but I'm going to whiz it, so it's going to make a bit of racket for a minute. Well, actually, it might help if I turned it on.
We're live.
Can't hear it. Can you hear that?
This happened last week, didn't it? No, week before, sorry, with Sean.
Yeah,
He's like, oh, it's so noisy, we couldn't hear it.
No. And I bet Sophie can't. Sophie, could you hear us talking during that?
No.
See, we couldn't hear that.
Oh, really? Oh, well, that's all right then.
So weird.
I'm just going to add a bit more olive oil. I started with some extra virgin olive oil, and then I'm just adding some light olive oil to make it a bit more lubricated, really. But obviously, the recipe's there, so you can follow that.
Oh, heard that one.
Guys, if you like it thinner or thicker, it's a preference, isn't it? I mean, you know, and also if you like it lumpy or less lumpy, just do it. Just play with it and find out, you know, what you prefer, and play with the herbs in it as well. And you can, you know, Sophie's used olive oil in rapeseed or some other oil. Use rapeseed, use different flavour oils in there.
Yeah, that's nice. Just got to check it. But seasoning's fine. I put a little bit of lemon juice in for a bit of acidity. And that's really nice. I've used parsley and basil for this one.
Yeah.
I would like to use tarragon, but I haven't got any at the moment. It's a little bit out of season, I think. It's quite difficult to find. So, but again, herbs that you like. So you could use parsley and mint. You could use basil, mint, tarragon.
Soft herbs, or you can use hard herbs with that?
Just soft herbs, yeah. You wouldn't use really like thyme or rosemary, or because obviously when you put up on the end on your chicken, it just wouldn't be. I don't know. It just it's
chewy,
fibrous,
yeah,
and it wouldn't break down.
Don't mind doing that. That's what it would be like. Yeah, excellent. Right, what's next?
Well, I'm pretty much up to date, really. Potatoes are obviously cooking away. The tomatoes in. It's just to cook the chicken breast, which I'm going to start off in light olive oil.
Yep.
And then once it's started to colour one side, I'll turn it over and then add a nice sort of cube of unsalted butter. And then that just makes it brown a little bit more, and obviously makes it a little bit more luxurious in taste. Which is what it's all about, isn't it, at the end of the day?
It is, you know, it is. So
can we ask why unsalted?
Yeah.
This is like an ongoing thing for me.
Yeah. Obviously with seasoning, if you use salted, it will flavour your meat, and also unsalted does actually cook to a higher temperature. So it's just something I've always done. I've always used unsalted. Yeah.
I'm the opposite. I always use salted.
I do as well. I didn't realise that about the temperature though. That's really interesting to know.
See, I learn something every time I do. Right, so are you going to put that in now, or can I ask you a question? I mean, put it in now.
You ask away, because I'm pretty much ahead of the game now at the moment. So yeah.
Okay. So give me one top tip for a home cook.
My tip, which I think helped, it's helped my daughters really. So I've got a daughter who's 26, she's got her own house, and my 24-year-old, she's about to buy her own house, is to get to know your local butcher and your local, whether it's a market or your greengrocers, because they will help you when you're buying your meats. They will suggest what cuts is for what. So obviously my daughters are quite good at cooking, because they followed in my sort of footsteps, I suppose. But they will recommend what meats are good for whatever. You can have a portion for one, or you can have a portion for four, and again they'll give you the correct size. The greengrocers will tell you what's in season. They often let you taste as well before you actually buy something. So I just think it's obviously supporting local as well, local businesses, which I really agree with. I just think it's really important, and I think you get better quality of meats, better quality of fruit and veg. It'll be seasonal, it'll be a better price because obviously it's in season. And it's sort of a win-win situation for you as a cook, or a home cook buying your ingredients, and then for a local business.
And that's the first time we've had that advice, and actually it's a really sound piece of advice. There's only one problem with Lizzie. Her husband to be is a butcher, so she has these, right? She doesn't even need to ask. She'll just go, I'm cooking this, and he'll go, I suppose this happens, and he'll just go, I'm going to bring it back. So
literally, although he hasn't, I keep asking him to bring beef cheeks home, because I want to make beef cheek tacos, but they haven't had any in for ages.
Oh really? Yeah,
gutted
quite a lot.
We had like skirt steak last night in baguettes with onion and homemade coleslaw and homemade chips. It was very good.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
I'm not going to fit in my wedding dress. That's
when are you getting married?
Well, oh gosh, this is
I'm going to sit back. Okay.
So it was supposed to be the 12th of February. Obviously that got delayed. So then we moved it to the 29th of March. The 29th of May. But then we were like, well, actually, it's so close to some of the major announcements for things being allowed to happen. We've got people coming from all over, like my best friend's coming from Dublin. We've got family coming from all over. So we're like, actually, it's probably not going to happen, if we're honest, like not the way we want it. So we've decided we're just going to go and have the basic legal ceremony, just us two with two witnesses. And then probably next year when we can, we'll have a massive party and like a do-over. So yeah, we're now getting married on the 13th of April. And a lovely friend of mine has gifted us a night in a shepherd's hut that she owns, like she rents it out. So yeah, very excited. That's why I was asking about your dinner party meals, because I was thinking we could take one with us, but we're a bit far from Coventry. Like 3 hours away.
Selfishness, you could just do a detour, couldn't you, on your wedding night? I mean, it's not like you're planning anything else or anything.
To be fair, we're just going to be absolutely smashed. Like, we've got 4 kids, Lee. We're having a night by ourselves. All we'll want to do is sleep.
Oh God. God, no dogs and no kids. How
I know, it's going to be heaven. No mobile signal either, which is another benefit.
Oh yeah, that's really nice. That is nice, yeah.
Yeah, it's literally in the wilds of, it's near Stokesley. So there's a place called Rosebery Topping. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Apparently it's quite a famous hill to walk up. But we can literally see that from the shepherd's hut. So we'll be sat in the hot tub with our glasses of fizz, trying not to drown and looking at Rosebery Topping in the dark.
No sympathy for. Have you just put some oil and stuff in your pan? Is that what you've done?
Yeah. I've just put some. Again, I cook with light olive oil. Obviously, the extra virgin. This is just one of them I use. The extra virgin olive oil will burn and doesn't heat to a higher temperature, but the lighter one does. You can use vegetable oil or rapeseed oil as well, but I just like that. Yeah, that's just something that I've cooked with for quite some time.
So good.
Yeah, so the pan's nice and hot. You can hear that little bit of sizzle, and then just pop it in and lie it away from you, so it doesn't tend to spit up at you. Yeah, and we'll cook that both sides. Won't take too long. But once you popped it in the pan, as long as your pan's non-stick, just leave it, let it do its thing, let it burn, let it cook, brown nicely. The browner your food, obviously, that's more taste. And then we'll flip it over and yeah.
The inevitable question from from a vegetarian standpoint is, if I didn't want to have chicken, what could I use instead?
Sorry, a cauliflower steak would be nice.
Yeah.
But I'd probably steam that for depending on the thickness of the steak. But obviously, when you've got a cauliflower steak, you've got the heart at the bottom, and that's quite dense. So I'd probably steam it just like in a bain-marie or a bamboo basket, something like that, for 2 to 3 minutes. Cool that off straight away, put it in nice cold water, and then flour, egg, and breadcrumb. That would be quite nice.
What about some sliced aubergines?
Sorry?
Sliced aubergines, could we do that?
Aubergines would be nice, yeah. And obviously tofu. You know, you could put some, work nicely with this, would be some nice cumin on tofu, and black pepper afterwards, you know, seasoning it. So
that sounds lovely.
If you go into my fridge and there's no chicken and I want to make something a bit nice, you know, I can use other things. Another question for you. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Favorite ingredients. It's like, you know, it's Mensa, this, isn't it? You know, are you ready? Favorite ingredients. 3 favorite ingredients that you like to cook with and that you like to eat.
Oh, okay. So I love my meat. So I'm definitely fillet steak. Just love it. I will.
Yes.
I often sous vide it first to make sure, you know, it's the right consistency. I do eat it rare, but even so, the sous vide with a little bit of butter, garlic and rosemary. So for rare, I'll put that in the sous vide for 45 minutes, and then it'll come out absolutely perfect. And then pan fry it, brown it either side, and that is just delicious. I like rump of lamb. I love lamb, and again, you can cook that really quite quickly. You can brown it either side, pop it in the oven for 15 minutes, and that come out pink. So again, I like my meats rare or pink. And then king prawns. Just
excuse me. Yes, in blooming yes. Lizzie's going to king prawns.
Sorry, guys. Do you know what? I honestly wish that I liked seafood. It's so good for you, and it looks incredible. But I just honestly, I've tried it fresh, like literally off the blooming fishing hook on a boat in Tenerife. I've tried all sorts of things, everything, whether it's shellfish, whitefish, anything else, and I cannot deal. And I'm gutted, honestly.
It'll be crap at Condam. You could be one of those people who goes, "Oh, it's too fishy." That's what you can say. It's too fishy.
It's not even that. Do you know what? It's the texture. So like even whitefish, which isn't very fishy, if I put that in my mouth, like the texture of it, I'm like, what? It's like I can't do anything about it.
Every time we do this, I try and persuade her to have fish, and she goes,
right.
Oh, look at that.
I'm just flipping it over, so that's
that looks gorgeous.
One side.
I mean, that's just a thing of beauty.
We've got the beginning of a parmo here, Lee.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh.
And then I'm just popping in the butter just to melt as well now with the other side.
So are they?
It smells really nice in here, guys. So
it does.
Television.
Tell me a little bit how you got into cooking.
Sorry.
Tell me a little bit how you got into cooking.
Oh, okay. Well, I trained as a chef when I was 16. I did my back then City and Guilds, which is 706 1 and 2. So yeah, initially I started out my career as a chef. I probably worked in the industry for a couple of years, really. But my first husband, he didn't like the hours, so I came out of it. I went into sales and ended up working for a large business, running a depot over in Ealing, Cambridgeshire, and having a big sales team and everything. And the reason I came back into the industry was that probably I've always kept up doing private dinner parties, things like that. But I came back into the industry probably 3 years ago, because in August 2017 I lost my mum to cancer, like really quickly, within 6 weeks, really unexpected. And it hit me like really, really hard. I was devastated. The following February, I had a bit of a breakdown in just coming to terms with it all. And after that, I thought, you know what? I don't need the Audi A5. I don't need this sales team. I don't want to be covering Ely all the way down to West Sussex and never being at home. And what's my love? I love food. I love feeding people. And I just gave it all up.
Good for you. Good for you. That's amazing.
Yeah, and then set up my own business, and yeah, it's gone from strength to strength, even with COVID, which is great.
Yeah. And that just in that passion, I can see
amazing.
you talk about food is just, and you know what, Sophie, your mum would be so bloody proud of you.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know. Everybody tells me that, and I'm a bit like, thank you.
Well, as long as you know it, that's
yeah.
you know.
It's true. I mean, because mum just want you to be happy, and if what's good for your heart is good for everything else, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
You need to write a book, Sophie.
Sorry?
You need to write a book, like almost like an autobiography of how you've gone from one extreme to the other and back again. Because
I know. It's
really empowering.
I love it. So I've just drained the potatoes. And again, this is my daughter said to me, why do you start doing this? And I don't know, new potatoes are obviously in season. They're good for you because they've got the skin on, so they've got the vitamin C. I'm just crushing them. I'm going to add a bit of olive oil and some salt, but I'm going to add the extra virgin olive oil this time. Just crushing them just gives them a little bit of different texture. And afterwards, actually, you could saute them, but I'm not going to. But it just creates a bit of texture and a bit of difference on the plate, if that makes sense. So I really like cooking with potatoes. So just a bit of information why I'm cooking them, really.
There's so many things. I mean, we use potatoes, don't we? It's like a staple. It's like a rice. It's like a pasta. It's something that we used as a filler, but you can do so many things with them now.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's easy as well. It's quite easy because obviously if you're doing mashed potatoes, you have to peel them and, you know, add buttermilk, cream them. But you just, crush them down and
perfect manage.
You've got a nice potato. And they work really nicely with the sauce fraiche. That they, top a teaspoon of that on top. Lovely.
Oh, you got out.
That's the one that got away.
If you had some leftover of those cold potatoes mashed, what would you use them for?
Oh, I love Dublin sweet. Oh gosh, that's one of my faves. Yes, definitely. So I'd use that. And yeah, I do like them for breakfast. And I can make a potato pancake. You can make a potato pancake with them, or like I say, Dublin sweet. Dublin sweet's just beautiful, isn't it? For breakfast with a nice big fried egg on top of it.
Oh,
Lee's just drooling now.
Every flipping week I do this, drool. Oh, and I can smell that chicken from here. It smells gorgeous.
Yeah, there we go. So that's basically it now.
Oh, that looks amazing.
Wow. It's cooked. So pop that to one side. Obviously, I've got the roasted tomato.
Yeah.
I will actually drain this on some kitchen towel.
But that's leaving it alone in the pan and just letting it do its stuff, just monitoring the heat and just letting it do what the heat does, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not, obviously I've just done that now. Yes, I can cook, but it's not a difficult dish at all. But it's got all the nice flavours and texture. You've got your different textures, got your different flavours. I've just got one roasted tomato there. And I'll just pop it on the plate so you can see my plating.
But when you've done it on the plate, I'll ask you some more questions because we've got a couple left. I mean,
yes, of course, yeah.
Okay, so food fad. What food fad are you glad's just gone out the window?
Oh, kale juice.
Oh,
come on.
What?
Really?
Oh.
I've never heard that one before.
Sounds vile.
Yeah. It was one of the juices, wasn't it? When it was all, vegetable juices, which, I don't mind. I don't mind, but kale. Oh, I love kale, and it's sort of like, with loads of salt and black pepper on it and butter. Yeah, fine. But in a juice, no, not for me. No.
Oh, I'm not with you on that one. I'm sorry. No, I have anything in my smoothie, anything. Sprouts will go in. I just, but God,
no.
Oh, Lee.
well, you know, what can I see? I'm trying to, you know, what can I? Yeah. Oh, see, that's the first time we've had anything.
Yeah, it's usually things like foams and sleeps and.
Yeah. I mean, what else? I mean, obviously the avocado thing. Oh yeah, actually, avocado in a cheesecake. No, that's
in a
not.
Cheesecake? What?
Yeah.
Vegan thing, Lizzie.
No, that shouldn't be allowed. I love avocado, but
that's not a good one. That was quite. Yeah, that was probably. How long ago was that? Oh God, time goes, isn't it? That was probably about 2 years ago. That was really popular, wasn't it?
That's just disgusting.
Yeah. I never made it, to be honest, and I never even ate it. So I suppose I can't. I can't really. I shouldn't really criticise it, should I? But it's just the thought of it that you think, well, a cheesecake should be chocolatey and creamy and luxurious and rich, and an avocado in it. I don't see how it would make that. So yeah.
If nothing else, it's green.
Yeah.
The Grinch is not, you know. Okay, so we've got the lovely potatoes. Oh, look at that.
The chicken looks amazing. Look at it. Oh.
You guys, it's I mean, it's quite simple, isn't it? It's so you've got your crispy chicken, bolognese. Got some of the nice sauce.
Oh my Lord.
Which obviously that will, because obviously the olive oil is in there and the chicken's quite hot. The sauce will just all pop into the sort of like the potatoes.
And will you take a picture of that?
Oh, it looks
Absolutely,
gorgeous.
yeah.
Send that
Yeah.
to and that'll be up on the that is awesome.
What I will do is, obviously I didn't season with black pepper, so I like black pepper, and I think it needs a bit of black pepper, so a little bit of black pepper on top, and then I'm going to put a little drizzle of my virgin
Chefy
olive
now,
oil.
getting chefy.
Yeah, my little chef there, and that's it. That's your dish, and yeah, you enjoy.
Amazing.
That is stunning. Okay.
Do you know what? I'm planning date night on Saturday night, and my other half is dairy free. So I think actually what I need to do is make this.
Yeah.
You would love it.
I mean, obviously I put a little bit butter. Well, I did put butter when I was frying it and to give the colour and a bit more taste, but you don't have to. That's just, again, a personal thing. So
we've got his like special needs vegan butter. We'll just use that.
Oh, okay.
We're going to upset so many people on this. Okay,
sorry. My personal opinion, not the opinion of Foodie Book Club.
So last question, really personal question, Sophie. Okay. Mm-hmm. Do you have a favourite knife?
Oh yes. Well, I have a few. This one obviously I've just put back in the sink. So this is my chef's knife, my cook's knife. It's a Japanese knife. It's called Shien. I hope I've pronounced that right. It's Shein.
Yeah.
And it's got really heavy handles. So obviously when you're chopping it, it just feels a substantial knife. It's got a beautiful blade. And I haven't sharpened it. This one I actually got at Christmas and I haven't had to sharpen it yet. And it's still really sharp. I totally recommend.
I'm sorry.
This
is why I say it's a personal question. Lizzie, can you see her caressing that knife?
I know.
I felt a little bit awkward, like I was a third wheel.
I know. It's awesome, isn't it? But it is really personal. You just think, and I've got a drawer full of knives and various makes. Sabatier was one that my mum recommended. But this, I mean, I really wanted to support an English company and produced over here, but I've got this knife and I'm just like, I love you.
They are known for their knives, aren't they? The Japanese.
Yeah, they are really
high
nice.
quality. Yeah.
I like these as well. This is a little cook's knife, just the small one. Just trying to think which make this is. It's one that James Martin actually recommends, or it's his knife range. Oh yeah, the Stella it's James Martin, STELLAR, James Martin. But again, that's a really nice, just for your veg. Top chopping your veg, and yeah, I like that one as well. So
And your very posh knife that you've just sort of caressed, would you let anybody else use that, or is that just for you? I love it.
No, it's awful. No, because obviously my daughter's, well, the one that's moved out, she's not here at the minute, but my other one, she'll help with the Sunday lunch, and she'll like just sort of grab it, and I'm like, no, that one's mine. You get the drawer. Choose another one. So, yeah, it's mine.
We were talking to a couple of chefs, and a couple of them said that we don't, in fact, every chef, bar one, has said they never let anybody else use their thing. And one of them said the reason he does it is because he cuts one way, and whoever, they'll cut another way, so that the blade will go a different way. And I said that's a really good excuse to tell people you can't use, because actually it's for my hand only.
Well, my excuse is I don't want you cutting yourself.
Oh,
but
right.
It's not really an excuse, because I've shown them how they shouldn't, have their knuckles showing. But it's a good excuse.
Is there anybody? I mean, you've already mentioned some local businesses. Like, can you mention your local butcher and any businesses that you use?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, the local butcher that prior to lockdown as well, I worked with, and I produced their cottage pies and their lasagnas and their sausage rolls, is Scott's Butchers of Binley Woods in Coventry. Nice. It's a family-run business, and they make sure they have all the best quality meats. They only use British meats. They use Welsh lamb. I think their beef is from Staffordshire. Their pork, I'm not sure, but it's excellent quality. And yeah, big up to Scott. He's just whatever I want. When you said about beef cheeks, I asked for beef cheeks. I asked for lamb's ribs. I have pig's cheeks. Whatever I asked for, he's like, yes, Sophie, yes. But he means it in a nice way. I made some duck faggots the other day, and I wanted the caul for, obviously, to wrap them in and to steam them, and he got me that. It's just amazing. It's just a great butcher. And I started going there, and before he knew anything about me, I just did a little write-up about him on my blog, because I just thought, you know what, you're brilliant, you're great, and I love your meats. And then afterwards, we sort of developed a relationship. So yeah, he's great. Coventry Market, they're great. I use Clive Miller, who's the fishmonger there. He's one of the top 10 fishmongers in the UK, which is great. So again, he will get it seasonal for you. He will. I do like to try and fill it myself, etc. But if I've got a big dinner, well, quite previously when I had a big dinner party and I needed quite a lot, he would, pin bone your salmon. I don't know, prepare your fillets for you, whatever. And then you've got all the fruit and veg, and also we've got sort of a mixed community. So there's Chinese, where you can get all your herbs and spices. There's Asian flavors. You can get goat, everything from a country market. So again, I'm lucky. Yeah, I'm lucky that I've got some good suppliers.
And it's just great, isn't it? There's one of the things that have come out of lockdown. I think more of us are appreciating buying local and supporting local, and I hope that carries on once.
Oh, I do, totally, yeah. Because I know that with the market, they've started doing, or they started probably 9 months ago doing home deliveries. And people were finding, obviously, the quality of the fruit and veg was so much better than supermarkets, and people didn't want to go out to supermarkets. So I really hope they do continue to support them at the end of this, because it's almost like they've used it, they've found it's been really good. So why go back to the supermarket when you know that you're going to get the quality? They're there, they've serviced you, they've looked after you. So yeah, that's one thing I'd say. Please support your local businesses.
That's what we try and do in Foodie Book Club.
100%.
If there's anything else that you want to talk about, have a think. I'm just going to do that whole Foodie Book Club pluggy thing that I do at the end, in the hope that we get more. Okay, Foodie Book Club is all about, food, books, and supporting anybody, emotional well-being of anybody we can access. And it's sort of going bigger and bigger. We've got these lockdown lunches, which is Sophie. These guys, honestly, they're so tough. Do it for free. So Lizzie does it for free. I do it for free. God, if only we got paid this much money, right?
We're millionaires.
It's all because we want to help the emotional well-being. And if you want to email me and ask me how we do that, please do. And we support food restaurants and chefs and things like that. And if you want to ask us questions, email. and we support independent businesses by shouting about them on social media as much as possible. You can help us do that by just going to the website leeandthesweetlife.com, subscribing to our weekly newsletter. It's free of charge. It just means you get a newsletter in your inbox, and you'll find that you get discount code every week in there, you'll get a recipe every week in there, and you'll get links to things like this. It's just about us showing you stuff, and if you can share that with your friends and people, then that's great. That's all we ask you to do. So that's me. This is Lizzie, who again, she's an awesome thing. If you need anything PR marketing, Peachy Digital, she's just expanding her new business. And this is Sophie Hyam. I mean, God, that was fabulous. She's in Coventry. If you're there, just is it
I mean, you can check me out. I've got Facebook page, which is Culinary Bites with Sophie. I've got Twitter, which is Tasty Tweets with Sophie. And then my Instagram is just Sophie Hyam, which is my name. And then I've got a website as well, sophiehyam.co.uk. So there's everything on there that I hopefully will be coming back. So there's private dinner parties that I will travel. Obviously there's cookery lessons, food demonstrations. Yeah, I've started to be booked. So I've been booked for the Coventry one, which is great. Leamington Food Festival later this year. And then I'm looking at the other Foodies Festival, which is across the country. So I'm waiting to hear on that. But yeah, I'm here, I'm available. And, you know, even if you just want to drop me an email and say, ask for a tip, I don't mind. You know, my passion is food, as you can see. And yeah, I don't mind helping out.
And then Sophie's full recipe will be on leeandthesweetlife.com lockdown pages, and all of her social media links and everything will be on there. You'll just, every time you see her name, there'll be a link to something of hers.
Yeah, I do actually do my own book club, which I told you before. Prior to lockdown, I was picking a book every month and just hiring a local cafe and choosing 5 recipes from a cookbook, cooking them. Everybody would have a small plate and trial it, and then I'd give them the pros and cons and why I chose that cookbook. And I did my first virtual one last month, actually, which was How to Eat a Peach by Diana Henry. And so I delivered them to everybody's home. I gave them notes about the product, and then they set up a Zoom call, because I couldn't actually do it myself, but they set up a Zoom call and discussed the menus while they were eating them. So that was great.
Food and books, it clicks.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you, Sophie. Thank you, Lizzie.
Okay.
We're clearing off now. See you soon. See you next time. And watch out for who we've got next week and the week after and the week after and the week after that. Okay. Bye.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for having me.